So finally, we have some scammers arrested, and it's about time too. This is my take on those arrests and why I'm a little bit surprised by the location of these scammers. First of all, the scammers were running the IRS scam, so they were phoning victims in the US. I've never personally received any of those calls, but I have received plenty from tech support scammers, and I've also made a few phone calls to those scammers who are running the pop-up scams. So I've done a bit of analysis over the past couple of years, and this is why I found Mumbai to be a surprise location. Okay, I'm going to use Google Earth to show you something which may be of interest. Over the past couple of years, I've recorded IP addresses of scammers, and it usually gives me pretty much exactly the city that they're from. So let me plot the cities first of all. And as you can see, there's quite a number of cities involved in tech support scams and pop-up scams. On the east, there's Kolkata or Calcutta and Chennai. On the west coast, there's Mumbai. And towards the northwest, there's Jaipur and a couple of cities in around the Delhi region. So Delhi itself, Gurgaon and Noida, and a few in the Punjab region. So of particular interest are some dates and timestamps of when these calls occur and a rough organization name, although it's obviously made up. So let me add those to the plot that I've got. And as you can see, a picture is starting to appear. Let me just zoom in on the Kolkata region first of all. This was more active in 2014, 2015. There's not so many others. There's still a few in 2016, but not as many as I did see. And in this region, the red pegs represent inbound tech support calls to the UK or US. So these are scammers who would have phoned me up. The dollar sign represents really follow-ups to some of those scams. If the scammers thought I had paid them money, they would sell that information like a sucker's list on to others. And I again saw a couple of follow-up calls from the Kolkata region trying to get more money out of me. So it's like a follow-up where they would have promised some sort of repayment, but in fact it was just a guise to get more money out of the victim. The yellow pegs represent pop-up scams, so there's a couple of those active towards the end of 2015 in the Chennai region. If we go over to the west, and this is where the arrests were made in Thane, which is a suburb of Mumbai. I, in my experience, just saw one tech support call from that region in the last 2 years. If we look up to the northwest, you can see where the majority of these scams are coming from. We'll look at Jaipur first of all. Jaipur has a couple of tech support fraud calls and pop-up scams. This telephone symbol represents a different sort of scam. This is a survey scam, so they will typically ring up people asking to conduct a survey, and all it's doing is really gathering personal information, and that is subsequently sold or traded on to other call centers. I give false information, and I heard other call centers quoting that back to me shortly afterwards. But the majority of the tech support and pop-up scams, and certainly in 2016, come from around about the Delhi region. I've plotted a number of these on this graph here. There's a couple of outliers just in the Punjab region. Home IT Master Next Prospects, who were active at the end of last year and this year. But you can see the majority are still based around the Delhi region and Kolkata. Now, what I also found you can see from the dates of some of these is that although Delhi, Noida, Gurgaon are more active right at the moment, it ebbs and wanes, and literally you will get a number of tech support scammers ringing up in a matter of days or weeks of one another from these sort of areas. Then it will die down, and then you might get other tech support calls a number of weeks or months later, perhaps from other areas. And I believe it's simply because these call centers are working their way through databases. Perhaps they're targeting particular areas like the UK only, or maybe Australia, or maybe the US, and then they'll move on to other databases or be provided with yet more information. So all of this builds up a picture, and there's no reason to suggest why my personal experience would be any different to a typical person in the UK. And if this is true, then the arrests that have been made in Mumbai and Thane really represent about 5% of the call centers actually engaged in scamming at the moment. If the authorities were able to take action in the Kolkata region and in around Delhi, I would suggest that there will be far, far more arrests in those areas than there ever could be in the likes of Mumbai. Now, perhaps the authorities have more inside information than I have, but maybe this is a bit more intelligence that they can act on. So I'll submit all of these dates, times, and locations to the appropriate authorities in the hope that there could be some further. I would be interested to hear from other people if you do what I do and record IP addresses. I would be very interested if my experience is similar to others. I suspect it is. And I would be grateful if you could either comment or contact me directly. There's contact information at the bottom of my video. Please do subscribe if you like these. I do intend to produce more. I'm not a very frequent uploader of videos, but hopefully those that I do, you do find interesting. So again, please do subscribe if you like these, and I would appreciate any comments or insights that you may have as well. So thank you again for watching.